Keep watching you when you leave. Something new. Keep hoping you feel this too. Holding on and on and on and on. Hoping I can get to know you better. Living in sweet suburbia. Some fun is all we want.
Welcome back to the Bethesda Big Train Baseball Network. We're here in Silver Spring. Big Train going to take on the T-Bolts for the second time this week. Going to be their 6th matchup with the T-Bolts. They currently lead 4-1 in the series. Last time these two teams faced was in Silver Spring. Big Train taking an electric 8-1 victory over the T-Bolts. Quentin, how are you feeling tonight?
Feeling good. Once again, it's a really hot day here in Maryland. It's about 95 degrees, but it should be a really good one between the Big Train and the T-Bolts. The Big Train falling last night to the Giants 12-5. The Giants clinching their first ever division title. So now the priority for Bethesda is going to be trying to host a play-in game. They currently sit at the 3 seed in the Ripken League at 17-15. The T-Bolts, on the other hand, in last at 12-20, but they are just a game behind the last wild card spot, which is currently held by the Metro SoCo Braves, who are 13-19, along with DC Grays, but the Braves currently hold the tiebreaker. So the T-Bolts looking to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Big Train looking to lock up home field advantage as we hit these last few games of the season, but again, it should be a good one tonight. Big Train dominating the last time they were here, 8-1, looking to follow that up with an encore performance.
That's right, especially coming off of a tough loss last night. Definitely coming in here with a vengeance, trying to get things moving. Quentin, what are you looking forward to seeing tonight? What do you think that Big Train needs to do to come back after last night?
Well, I'm really excited to see Sam Mitchell pitch for the Big Train. It's going to be his 4th appearance of the summer. Looked really good the last time he pitched for Bethesda. That was a week from yesterday against the Crop Dusters. Allowed just 1 hit in 4 innings, getting the call tonight as the Big Train looked to bounce back from a big loss last night.
First up at bat for the Big Train is going to be number 8, Justin Nato. The newest addition to the Big Train squad, was a part of the starting lineup last night, recorded a lead-off double that helped bring in the first 2 runs for the Big Train. Following him is going to be Andrew Williamson, and then it's Keenan Bowman. Cleanup is going to be Emilio Gonzalez, followed by Davin Whitaker, Jordan Crosland, Christopher Diaz, catcher Luke Vaughn, and the 9-hitter going to be Matthew Wesley on the bump. For the T-Bolts is going to be Jay Wandel as Nato lines the first offering through the hole of shortstop and third, and he's going to make it onto first. What a way to kick off this evening game.
That's 5 games and 5 hits for Nato. Struggled a bit last night, went 1 for 5, but a great start here jumping on the first pitch. And up comes Andrew Williamson, who has had a slightly more impressive streak than Nato, although he's had a lot more at-bats.
First offering to Williamson. He's going to show bunt. Nato going to take off for second. He will successfully steal the throw to second, not in time. And so Williamson gets himself aboard first. Catcher Vance Bonnier paying more attention to the runner, going after second. Didn't make the throw to first, so now Big Train has 2 runners on first and second for shortstop Keenan Bowman to come to the plate.
Now it's been a few nights since we've seen Bowman in the starting lineup. A great early opportunity here.
Bowman shows bunt on the first offering. It's going to get away from Bonnier, and with that, Nato going to steal third. Williamson will steal second. The Big Train off to an electric start. Bowman currently sitting 1-0 in the count.
Bowman's last appearance was here in Silver Spring just a few days ago. Went 0 for 3, but before that had recorded a hit in 3 of his previous 4 games.
The 1-0 to Bowman. That one going to be low for ball 2.
And as you said, Phoebe, it's going to be Jay Wandel on the mound, throwing to Vance Bonnier, so it'll be Walter Johnson High School alum throwing to fellow Walter Johnson High School alum. Feeling very Montgomery County Public School right now. Feeling very prideful.
The 2-0 going to be outside for ball number 3. So Bowman sitting ahead in the count with runners in scoring position at second and third. Bowman going to show bunt on the 3-0. He'll pull back for ball 4. He's going to take his base at first, loading them up for number 45, the first baseman, Emilio Gonzalez.
So a poor start here for the T-Bolts, who have lost 4 of their last 5. Again, sit at 12-20, a game behind the last wild card spot.
The last time we were in Silver Spring, we saw the Big Train strike first, putting up 2 in the first inning as the first offering. Gonzalez is going to be outside for ball 1.
Went 1 for 2 last night with a couple of walks, also a pair of RBIs. That brought his total up to 25 on the summer.
The 1-0. Allen going to be fouled off over the Big Train dugout for strike 1. So the count 1-1 on Gonzalez again. Big Train have loaded the bases. Nato on third, Williamson on second, and Bowman on first. The 1-1. That's going to be swung on and missed for strike 2.
Now Wandell has been exceptional for the T-Bolts this summer. Just a 1.03 ERA in a little over 17 innings pitched. Looking to claw back here after a rough first 3 batters.
The 1-2. That's going to be swung on and missed for strike 3 and out number 1 for the Big Train.
Looked like the same 2 pitches that got Gonzalez swinging and missing, tailing away from the lefty low and away.
Now stepping up, it's going to be the right fielder, Davin Whitaker. Was a part of the starting lineup last night. Went 0 for 5. Looking for some more positive success from the plate tonight. First offering to Whitaker. Allen in there for strike 1.
I'm always a big fan of a curveball or a slider on the first pitch. I feel like rarely hitters are ever sitting on a pitch like that to start things off.
The 0-1, that's going to be low and outside for ball 1. So the count 1-1 on Whitaker again. Bases loaded for the Big Train. 1 out on the board. The 1-1. Allen going to be fouled off into the T-Bolts dugout for strike 2. Again, the Big Train kicking things off at 6 p.m. Typically get a 7 p.m. start, but the 1-2. Allen's going to be popped high into left field. Under it with the catch, and out number 2 is going to be Quincy Villa. But Nato will score from third. So 2 outs on the board for the Big Train. Still have runners on first and second in Keenan Bowman and Andrew Williamson. And the Big Train have struck first. Now stepping up to the plate, going to be number 1, Jordan Crosland, the second baseman for the Big Train.
It's been exactly a week since Crosland's last recorded a hit. Has only appeared twice since last Sunday, went 0 for 4 against the Giants and 0 for 2 against the T-Bolts a few days ago.
First offering to Crosland in there for strike 1. Wandell will chase Williamson back over to second. Count still 0-1 on Crosland. The 0-1, that's going to be low for ball 1.
Now I'm curious to see, as we saw just a few moments ago, Williamson try and not only get Wandell's attention, but maybe perhaps force a balk.
The 1-1, that is going to be fouled off into the catcher, Vance Bonnier, for strike 2. So the count now 1-2 on Crosland, 2 outs on the board for the Big Train. who have runners on first and second. Christopher Diaz is waiting on deck.
Now, some other worthy games to pay attention to. The Giants are in only play in the Crop Dusters. Crop Dusters leading that one 1-0 in the bottom of the first. That one especially important for potential play-in host Crop Dusters baseball.
The 1-2, that's going to be popped high into left field. And under it with the catch and out number 3, Quincy Villa. So the Big Train strike one to get the early lead, looking to maintain that lead when we return with the bottom of the first. Stay tuned, you're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the bottom of the first inning. Big Train, the first to strike, have taken a 1-0 lead, left 2 stranded on the base paths. Sam Mitchell on the mound, first at bat, gonna be number 7, Josh Erd. Takes the first offering outside for ball 1. And the 1-0 gonna be low and in the dirt, gets away from catcher Luke Vaughn, bringing the count 2-0 on Erd.
Now, I alluded to this a little bit in the pregame show, but Mitchell has looked really good for the Big Train in just 6 1/3 innings pitched so far.
As the 2-0 going to be in there for strike 1.
Allowed just 1 hit over 4 full innings of work against the Crop Dusters on July 6th.
As the 2-1 going to be skied, sailing into center field. And under it with the catch and out number 1, going to be Andrew Williamson. Now stepping up to plate, the left fielder Quincy Villa recorded the final 2 outs in the top of the first.
Villa, a couple days ago, recorded a hit against the Giants in the rain-shortened 5-3 defeat the T-Bolts took at Criswell Automotive Field.
As the first offering to Villa, going to be a hair outside for ball 1. The 1-0, he'll show bunt and miss, and that'll be strike 1 on Villa. Count now 1-1. The 1-1, that one is gonna nick him in the shoulder, and with that Villa will take his base at first.
So Quincy Villa doesn't get on base often. Bats just 192, and his on base percentage isn't all that much higher, but when he does, he has made a huge impact. 22 stolen bases so far this season. So look out for a potential swipe of second and maybe even third if he completes step number 1.
Now up at bat is the third baseman, Ryan Quadros. He'll foul off the first offering into the backstop for strike 1.
Now Quadros was a later addition to the T-Bolts lineup, but has had a really good summer so far, hitting .339, 19 hits, a homer, and 7 RBIs.
As the 0-1 gonna be low for ball 1.
He's played 17 games for the T-Bolts and has recorded at least 1 hit in 14 of them.
The 0-1 gonna be lined foul down the right field line, bringing the count 0-2.
Villa took off as well, but the big train catching a break as he'll have to go back to first on the foul ball.
So 1 out on the board for the T-Bolts, a runner on first. Quadros staring down an 0-2 count. The 0-2 runner goes. Vaughn gonna chase him down at second, and he got the throw in time. That's gonna record out number 2.
That wasn't just a fantastic throw from Vaughn. That was an exceptional tag by Jordan Crossland to be able to not only glove it, but swipe it across his body and get Villa on the body for out number 2. And now Mitchell just 1 strike away from ending the inning.
Quadros facing a 1-2 count. The 1-2 gonna be a hair outside, bringing the count even on Quadros. Again, no runners on the base path now, 2 outs on the board. Here comes a 2-2. That one gonna be fouled off into the backstop. The 2-2. That one gonna be fouled off into catcher Luke Vaughn. So Quadros staying alive to face the 2-2 count again. The 2-2. That one gonna be swung on and missed for strike 3 and out number 3. So an efficient half inning for Sam Mitchell. Big Train still leading 1-0, looking to tack on some insurance runs when we return with the top of the second. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the top of the second inning. Leading things off, going to be the left fielder, Christopher Diaz. First offering to Diaz, going to be in there for strike 1. Again, Big Train currently leading 1-0.
Diaz has only made one appearance since the All-Star game back on July 9th. That was here in Silver Spring against the T-Bolts. Went 0 for 4.
The 0-1 going to be swung on and missed for strike 2.
But he'll probably look to carry over the momentum he generated the game before the All-Star game in Gaithersburg when he went 3 for 4.
The 0-2. That one going to be popped high into right center field. Ranging under it, and with the catch, going to be Gabe Ruiz to record out number 1 on the Big Train. So that's going to send up the catcher, Luke Vaughn, to the plate. 1 out on the board for the Big Train. Getting a cool breeze here in Silver Spring. First offering to Vaughn. Going to be low and outside for ball 1. Again, it's Matthew Wesley as the 9-hitter on deck behind Luke Vaughn. The 1-0. That one going to be low and outside for ball 2.
Vaughn also making his last appearance here in Silver Spring. Went 1 for 4 with a double.
The 2-0. That one's going to be fouled off for strike 1. Again, we apologize if you hear some clanging about.
Our upstairs neighbors are pretty mean.
We're located under the bleachers here at Montgomery County Blair High School. The 2-1. That one going to be lined foul down the left field line.
That one just barely foul out of the reach of Quadros. But Vaughn will have to go back, still facing a 2-2 count.
Again, there's 1 out on the board for the Big Train. Currently leading 1-0, looking to tack on a couple more insurance runs. The 2-2. That one popped high and fouled off out of play. So Vaughn will stay alive to face the 2-2 count yet again.
I will say you are very right, Phoebe. The breeze feels exceptional. Again, it's been a very hot day in Maryland, and the anti-wind faction of Maryland is getting blown away right now.
The 2-2 going to be low for ball 3. Count moves full on Vaughn. The full count. That one going to be lined down the third base line. Quadros will scoop it, make the throw to Powers at first to record out number 2. So with 2 outs on the board, no runners on base, 9-hitter Matthew Wesley going to step up to the plate. Wesley, the designated hitter for the Big Train this evening.
Went 1 for 5 a few days ago here against the T-Bolts, including a batting practice bomb off the fire station beyond the left field fence.
First offering to Wesley. That one going to be low and outside for ball 1. The 1-0. That one going to be grounded softly just in front of the third base. The throw from pitcher Jay Wandel over to Powers at first, missing. So with that, Wesley going to steal second. Now stepping up to the plate, the leadoff hitter Justin Nato recorded a base hit during his first at-bat this evening, which brought in the first run for the Big Train.
Swinging bunts, the underrated blessing of an offense. You never want to make little contact with the baseball, but if you do, You want it to roll into an area where there aren't too many defenders, which is exactly what a swinging bunt accomplishes. And sometimes, like what we just saw, whoever fields the ball will try to rush it over to first, and that could allow you to take second, which Wesley did right there.
First offering to Nato, gonna be low and outside. It bounces away from catcher Bonier with that. Wesley gonna steal third.
That's now a couple of times that Bonier has lost the ball. And a pretty sizable backstop here at Montgomery Blair High School. Although hard ricochets have been common with the padding, so perhaps another pass ball could become a break for the first time for the T-Bolts should it happen again.
The 1-0 to Nato. That one outside for ball 2. So the count now 2-0 on Nato, 2 outs on the board. Wesley aboard third with the Big Train's potential second run. The 2-0, just a hair outside for ball 3. Count now 3-0 on Nato. Nato's gonna show bunt but retract. And that'll move the count to ball 4. Nato gonna take his base at first, putting runners on the corners for Andrew Williamson. Williamson laid down a bunt that pushed Nato over to second. He was able to reach first before the throw.
Now, an important note regarding Williamson as we head into the final few games of the season. We are still very much on Andrew Williamson triple crown watch, has the outright lead in batting average, still one behind Carter Groen in homers, and is tied with Riley DiCandido and Jamie Quinn Irons of the Aces for the league lead in RBIs with 28.
As the first offering to Williamson is low and outside for ball 1. The 1-0. That one gonna be low and outside for ball 2. The 2-0. That one outside for ball 3. So Williamson now sitting in favor of the count. 2 outs on the board, runners on first and third. The 3-0. That one gonna be in there for strike 1.
Thought that one might be in Williamson's wheelhouse. Heater tailing to the low and outside part of the zone where Williamson has taken a lot of baseballs into the left center field gap.
The 3-1. That one popped high and foul over the Big Train dugout. So that's going to move the count full on Williamson. So count 3-2 on Williamson. Runners on first and third. 2 outs on the board for the Big Train. The full count. That one low for ball 4 with that. Williamson will walk out to first. That's going to load the bases for shortstop Keenan Bowman. Bowman was walked during his first at-bat this evening.
And we're going to have our first mound visit to Wandell. Bases loaded with 2 outs facing Keenan Bowman.
Bowman, a powerful hitter, took the MVP of the All-Star game last Tuesday after nailing a home run down the left field line.
I think if he hits a home run to the same spot he did at the Only Boys and Girls Club, I think he might put a fire truck in danger out there. Oh, actually it's leaving right now, so never mind on that. I think that will simply just hit the driveway and no damage would be done. Also a good time to shout out Silver Spring Fire Station 16. That is the fire station right across the way, right across our line of sight. So thank you to all the first responders working at Silver Spring Fire Station 16.
First offering to Bowman. Gonna be a hair outside for ball 1. Some powerful 2-out hitting has loaded the bases for the Big Train. Again, looking to tack on to their 1-0 lead. The 1-0. Allen gonna be lined down the third base line. Quadros will make the tag out at third to record out number 3. So the Big Train leave them loaded, still leading 1-0, looking to protect that when we return with the bottom of the 2nd inning. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the bottom of the 2nd inning. Big Train still leading 1-0. We're held scoreless in the top of the 2nd. Looking to protect their lead here from the field. On the bump, Sam Mitchell for the Big Train at the plate. Gonna be number 37, the catcher Vance Bonnier. He'll line that offering to third baseman Nato, who makes the throw to Gonzalez at first in time for out number 1. An excellent throw from Nato at third to Gonzalez over at first to record out number 1 for the T-Bolts, as number 34, Gabe Ruiz, will step up to the plate. Ruiz in center field for the T-Bolts this evening. First offering to Ruiz. Going to be outside for ball 1. The 1-0. That'll be low for ball 2.
Ruiz went 1 for 5 in his last appearance, and only against the Crop Dusters. That was the epic shootout. The T-Bolts won 15-14.
As the 2-0 gonna nick him on the elbow pad. He'll take his base at first. So that'll be the 2nd hit by pitch of the evening. In the bottom of the 1st, Quincy Villa took a ball to the shoulder but was gunned down at 2nd by Luke Vaughn and Jordan Crosland. So the T-Bolts, 1 out on the board. Nope, no outs on the board yet. First offering to number 25, Andrew Powers, is going to be a swing and a miss for strike 1. 1 out on the board for the T-Bolts, 1 runner on first. Powers now facing an 0-1 count, as he'll swing and miss on the 2nd offering, bringing the count 0-2 on the first baseman. The 0-2. Allen Gonna be popped high and foul into left field, and it'll land out of play in the Big Train bullpen. So Powers will stay alive to face the 0-2 count again. The 0-2 to Powers. Allen gonna be grounded right to Gonzalez at first. That's gonna record out number 2. But with that, Ruiz will steal second. Excellent glove catch from Gonzalez over at first. Powers nailing it right into his glove.
Powers seemingly cannot catch a break this summer. He is now 4 for 47.
Now stepping up to the plate is going to be the second baseman, number 23, Mike Heckman. First offering to Heckman, going to be grounded to Gonzalez over at first. He'll trip and fall, but luckily Whitaker there with the scoop from right field. He'll make the throw down to first. Unfortunately, doesn't come in time, and with that, Ruiz has tied the game for the Big Train and the T-Bolts. Heckman now aboard first. 2 outs on the board for the T-Bolts. For number 11, Matthew Walters, the right fielder for the T-Bolts. That was just an unfortunate trip in the dirt for Gonzalez at first.
I think
the ball skipping past him.
Gonzalez tried to dive but didn't extend as far as I think he thought he was.
As the first offering to Walters will be grounded through the hole. Left fielder Diaz makes the scoop and throw over to third, not in time. And Walters gonna reach second. So the T-Bolts now threatening to take the lead with 2 runners in scoring position. For the 9-hitter and designated hitter, number 38, Jeff Sabater.
So Sabater usually at the top of the T-Bolts lineup, batting in the 9 spot tonight. So unexpectedly good hitting from the bottom of the T-Bolts lineup. A couple of these guys, as I alluded to a few moments ago, have been really struggling lately.
As the first offering to Sabater will be low for ball 1.
But now 2 in scoring position for Sabater, who's been going back and forth with Williamson all season long in the league lead for batting average.
The 1-0. Allen gonna be popped high and foul, landing in the Big Train bullpen. That'll bring the count even at 1.
Sabater batting a ludicrous .410 on the season.
So 2 outs on the board, 2 runners in scoring position. The 1-1 will be fouled off into the Big Train bullpen, bringing the count 1-2 on Sabater. Mitchell just a strike away from keeping this game tied at 1. The 1-2. Allen popped high into left field. Under it with the catch, and out number 3 is Christopher Diaz. So the T-Bolts leave 2 stranded, but have tied this game up at 1. Big Train looking to strike back and regain the lead when we return with the top of the 3rd. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Meet me in the corner, no. 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 Boogie down, next up.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the top of the third inning. We've got a tie ball game here in Silver Spring. The T-Bolts scratched across one but left two stranded. Gonzalez gonna kick things off for the top of the third. First offering gonna be outside for ball one.
Now in Olney, the Giants have taken a 2-1 lead over the Crop Dusters. Again, the Big Train leading the Crop Dusters by a game and a half for the third seed in the Ripken League playoffs.
As the 1-1 gonna be in there for strike one.
The Grays also leading the Braves 4-3 in the bottom of the fourth. Big wild card implications there as those two teams are tied for the last wild card spot, with the Braves currently holding the tiebreaker.
The 1-1 high and outside for ball two. Count moves 2-1 on Gonzalez. The 2-1. That one low but swung on and popped high into center field. It's going to be gloved by Ruiz to record out number one, but a powerful shot from Gonzalez. That ball was low in the zone, but he chopped after it. Now up at the plate is the right fielder, Davin Whitaker. First offering to Whitaker, low and outside for ball one.
Now another important playoff note, probably should have said this earlier, the Big Train, with a win tonight, clinch a playoff spot.
The 1-0 outside for ball two.
Now, as we've mentioned over the past couple of games, there are no guarantees, but the only one after a hypothetical win tonight would be that the Big Train would live to see beyond the regular season.
As Whitaker will send a 2-0 into center field under it with the catch. And out number two going to be Ruiz. That'll send up the second baseman, Jordan Crosland, to the plate.
Now, if the season ended today, the Big Train would be hosting the Metro SoCo Braves in a one-game playoff. That's where the Big Train will be headed tomorrow night.
First offering to Crosland in there for strike one.
New relief pitcher Trevor Orth will be going back home. That's where he played his high school ball and where he grew up. Looked dominant last night, throwing 2 shutout, no-hit innings.
As the 1-0 will be fouled off down the third base line for strike two.
Now the last time the Big Train were in Lorton, they won 15-7. Hit 4 home runs, 2 from Andrew Williamson, 1 from Davin Whitaker, and another from Jaden Bastian.
The 0-2, that one popped high and foul. So Crosland will stay alive at the plate.
It'll also be your first visit to South County High School this season.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was absent the last time we made the trip down there, so I'm excited to see their stadium. The 0-2, that's going to be swung on and missed for strike three and out number three. So it's still a tie game at 1. Big Train looking to keep it that way when they take to the field in the bottom of the third. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the bottom of the third inning. Big Train held scoreless in the top of the inning, so it's still a tie ball game at 1. Kicking things off is the leadoff hitter, top of the order, number 7, Josh Erd. Still Sam Mitchell on the bump for the Big Train as the first offering. 2 Erd going to be low and outside for ball 1.
Now, Erd struggled at the plate the last time these two teams played, went 0 for 3, but played really well in the field.
As the 0-1 going to be lined into right field. Going to drop in front of Whitaker for a base hit. So with that, no outs on the board, a runner now at first. That's going to send up the left fielder Quincy Villa. During his previous at-bat, he was hit by the pitch.
I guess I just played anti-wizard there. The second that I said Erd didn't play well the last time these two teams played, he records a base hit.
It's funny you mentioned a wizard. I noticed they have a stuffed wizard tied to one of the fence posts.
I had no idea where you were going to go after the first part of that sentence. But yes, I also did notice the stuffed wizard down the first base line. We'll have to find out what the lore is behind that. There's a ton of lore here at Montgomery Blair High School. There's a wizard, there's a dead pig somewhere. The team that the Big Train are playing is something you can't actually see, right?
Thunderbolts?
Unless you can.
I would say yes. It's like a strike of lightning. The 0-1. That one going to be grounded to pitcher Mitchell. He'll flip it over to Gonzalez at first in time to record out number 1. But Erd going to steal second. Now putting the go-ahead run in scoring position for number 32, Ryan Quadros, to step up to the plate. First offering to Quadros, going to be lined through the hole, scooped up by Diaz. There will be no throw, so the T-Bolts put runners on the corners for the catcher, Vance Bonnier.
I'm really liking the quality of contact the T-Bolts are making. Nothing crazy, nothing that's reached the wall yet, but enough to get into the outfield and put multiple runners on base. Let's see if they can capitalize once again this time around.
First offering to Bonnier, going to be outside for ball 1. Again, 1 out on the board for the T-Bolts, runners on first and third. The 1-0. That's going to be low. It'll get away from catcher Luke Vaughn, and with that, Erd going to score from third. T-Bolts have taken the lead 2-1 as Quadros will advance to second. Count 2-0 on Bonnier.
Not a ton you can do there as a catcher to try and keep that one in front of you. That one looked like it bounced square off of Vaughn.
The 2-0. That one swung on and missed for strike 1.
Bonnier, the Walter Johnson High School alumni, will be playing his college ball at UMass Amherst.
The 2-1. That one popped high into center field. Under it with the catch. And out number 2 going to be Andrew Williamson. Quadros going to remain at second with now 2 outs on the board. A runner still in scoring position. It's going to be the center fielder Gabe Ruiz at the plate. First offering to Ruiz, going to be outside for ball 1. The 1-0. That one going to be fouled off over the T-Bolts dugout, bringing the count even at 1 on Ruiz.
That fastball from Mitchell is so tantalizing, standing at about 6'7", 230. Pretty intimidating figure up on the mound.
The 1-1, that one in there for strike 2. Mitchell now just a strike away from stopping the bleeding here. Again, Quadro's still aboard second with the T-Bolts' potential 3rd run. The 1-2, that one's gonna be fouled off into the backstop.
Waiting on deck is the first baseman, Powers. Made really solid contact his last at bat. Unfortunately for him, it was a great sliding stop by Emilio Gonzalez to retire him.
As the 1-2 gonna be outside, bringing the count even at 2 on Ruiz. The 2-2, that one gonna be grounded to Bowman at short. He'll send it to Gonzalez at first to record out number 3. So the T-Bolts leave one stranded at second, but the damage has been done. Have taken a 2-1 lead. Big Train looking to strike back in the top of the 4th when we return. Stay tuned, you're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Meet me in the corner, no. 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 Boogie down, mix up. Boogie down, fix up. The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the top of the 4th. T-Bolts took the lead in the bottom of the 3rd, scratching across 1 to bring the score 2-1 in favor of the home team. First up at the plate, gonna be Diaz. He's gonna ground the first offering down the middle, and he'll reach first easily. So a good start for the Big Train in the top of the 4th from left fielder Christopher Diaz.
That's exactly how Justin Nato started this ball game, with a leadoff single up the middle on the first pitch of the game. Diaz doing exactly the same here in the top of the 4th inning.
Now up at the plate, gonna be catcher Luke Vaughn, looking to carry on this momentum as Diaz is gonna be chased back to first. First offering to Vaughn, gonna be grounded to second baseman Heckman. He'll flip it over to Powers at first to record out number 1, but Diaz stealing second. Now stepping up is the designated hitter Matthew Wesley.
Wesley was able to make it to second in his last at bat with a swinging bunt and an error from Jay Wandell on the throw to first.
First offering to Wesley going to be tailing in there for strike one. Count 0-1 on Wesley, 1 out on the board. A runner in scoring position at second. Diaz representing the tying run as the 0-1 going to be fouled off for strike two. Looks like Wesley might have got himself in the feet off the foul ball. He'll walk it off. Wesley looking to be A-OK as he returns to the batter's box. Count 0-2 on the Virginia Tech Hokie again. It's Christopher Diaz with the tying run at second. The 0-2. That one will land in the dirt for ball one. Diaz will remain at second. The 1-2. That one landing in the dirt, bringing the count even at 2. The throw from Bonnier to Erd at second offline. So Diaz able to safely track back over to second. Count even at 2 on Wesley, 1 out on the board, and a runner on second. The 2-2. That's gonna be in there for strike 3 and out number 2. So the Big Train now 2 outs on the board. The potential tying run on second base and Christopher Diaz. As the top of the order, Justin Nato will step up to the plate.
I'm really liking the bounce back from Wandell after a rough first inning. Has looked a lot better over the last almost 3.
First offering to Nato. That's going to be popped high into left field and diving under it with the catch. Quincy Villa, that's going to record out number 3. So the Big Train held scoreless for the 3rd consecutive half inning. T-Bolt still leading 2-1. Big Train looking to prevent them from scoring anymore when we return with the bottom of the 4th. Stay tuned.
Wait for me. Keep watching you when you leave. Something new. Keep hoping you feel this too. Holding on and on and on and on. Hoping I can get to know you better. Living in sweet suburbia. Some fun is all we want. Two kids come alive in a night rush. I'll be the girl next door. You be my summer crush. Yeah, I think you should come and pick me up. 'Cause nothing feels as good as summer love.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the bottom of the 4th inning. T-Bolts still leading 2-1, held the Big Train scoreless in the top of the 1st. It's top of the 4th. First offering to Andrew Power is going to be swung on and missed for strike 1. It's still Sam Mitchell on the bump for the Big Train. The 0-1 going to be low and outside for ball 1.
It's going to be 6, 7, 8 due up for the T-Bolts. On deck is Mike Heckman, and in the hole is Matthew Walters.
The 1-1, swing and a miss for strike 2. Now, as we mentioned in the pregame show, Big Train leading in the series with the T-Bolts 4-1. As the 1-1 going to be lined to Gonzalez at first. That's going to record out number 1. Sending up number 23, Mike Heckman, to the plate. Recorded a base hit during his previous at-bat.
Gonzalez has been very busy over at first. His previous diving effort didn't go the way he wanted, but that time able to extend almost fully to make the catch for out number 1.
First offering to Heckman. Check swing, did he go around? No, he did not, so that'll be ruled ball 1. But the T-Bolts only win over the Big Train so far this summer. The 1-0 gonna be grounded foul towards the Big Train dugout, bringing the count 1-1 on Heckman. T-Bolts put up an offensive explosion in the top of the 4th and the 5th to take an 8-4 victory over the Big Train earlier this summer, as the 1-1 is outside for ball 2. Count 2-1 on Heckman. The 2-1, that one gonna be popped over to Nato at third. He'll send it to Gonzalez at first to record out number 2. That's gonna send up number 11, Matthew Walters, to the plate. Gave the Big Train quite some trouble during his previous at-bat. Was able to make it to second. First offering gonna be a hair outside for ball 1.
Waiting on deck in the 9th spot is Jeff Sabater.
The 1-0 swung on and missed for strike 1. The 1-1 gonna be another swing and a miss for strike 2.
Mitchell's done a really good job today of generating swings and misses.
The 1-2 popped high and under it with the glove catch, and out number 3 is Emilio Gonzalez making the catch in foul territory. So the Big Train hold 'em scoreless. T-Bolt still leading 2-1. Your Big Train looking to strike back when we return. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride the boogie train.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the top of the 5th inning. Big Train still trailing by 1, looking to strike back from the plate. Kicking things off, gonna be Andrew Williamson. Laid down a bunt during his first at-bat, which was very successful, put runners on first and second, and then was walked during his previous at-bat. Fouled off the first offering for strike 1. The 0-1. That one gonna be grounded through the middle, just missing the glove of shortstop Josh Erd. Couldn't get a good hand on it as it skipped past him. And with that, Williamson is aboard first as the shortstop Keenan Bowman steps up to the plate.
A rare miscue there by Erd. A great play to hustle over towards second and even get a glove on the ball. Unfortunately, just couldn't corral it.
First offering to Bowman, outside for ball 1. As Williamson gonna be chased back to first. Looks like it spooked first base coach Rob McIntyre a little bit.
That's like us when a fastball that gets by the catcher flies into the net that is very strong and protective in front of us.
The 1-0 going to be in there for strike 1. Count moves 1-1 on Bowman.
I mentioned this a few broadcasts ago. I really hope McIntyre nor third base coach Galvin Morris get into a Tommy Lasorda situation and take a tumble.
As the 1-1 gonna land in the dirt for ball 2. Williamson will stay at first.
Now Tommy Lasorda had very good reason to fall over. A broken bat was flying towards him down the third base line during the All-Star game.
As the 2-1 gonna be swung on and missed for strike 2.
But as long as, let's say hypothetically, McIntyre did fall over, it would have been a little funny if the first baseman Powers had fully caught it and McIntyre was in no danger whatsoever.
The count even at 2 on Bowman. Williamson gonna get chased back to first. The 2-2. That one gonna be popped shallowly over the extended hand of pitcher Jay Wandel. Williamson attempted to steal second, but second baseman Heckman able to make the tag out at second. But Bowman reaching first. Now 1 out on the board for the Big Train. 1 runner at first for Emilio Gonzalez to take to the plate.
And a quick update from the MLB draft. The Cleveland Guardians have selected Travis Bazana, the second baseman from Oregon State, with the #1 overall pick.
As the first offering to Gonzalez is going to be low for ball 1.
There was much debate as to who was going to be the top pick, but it is the Oregon State Beaver going #1 overall.
The 1-0 going to land in the dirt for ball 2.
And that'll mark the second Beaver ever taken #1 overall. Phoebe, do you want to take a guess as who the other one was?
The 2-0 going to be swung on and missed for strike 1. No? Can you just tell me?
Adley Rutschman in 2019, the only other Oregon State Beaver to be taken #1 overall.
Oh, wow. It's exciting. So the count 2-1 on Gonzalez, 1 out on the board. Bowman aboard first. Big Train looking to create some action around the base path to tie the game and retake their lead. The 2-1 Gonna be low for ball 3.
And waiting on deck is the right fielder, Whitaker.
The 3-1. That one gonna be skied into left field under it with the catch. Gonna be Quincy Villa, so that'll record out number 2. Bowman still aboard first as the right fielder, Davin Whitaker, steps up to the plate.
I am very impressed with how hard Gonzalez hit that ball, considering it was up and away. But he put that one into deep left center field. Unfortunately for him, Quincy Villa able to get under it for out number 2.
First offering to Whitaker, high for ball 1. The 1-0. That one gonna be popped high into center field. Ranging back to the wall and making the catch for out number 3 is center fielder Ruiz. So the Big Train leave one stranded at first, held scoreless. T-Bolt still leading 2-1. Big Train looking to shut them down when we return. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into inning. Still Sam Mitchell on the bump. T-Bolt still leading 2-1. It's going to be 9-1-2 up for the T-Bolts as Jeff Sabater going to sky the first offering into left field under it with the catch and out number 1. Left fielder Christopher Diaz.
Now that was well hit by Sabater, but he knew immediately that Diaz was going to be right under that one. Usually when a batter flips their bat, it's in celebration, but that one was in frustration from Sabater.
As the first offering to Erd, going to be low for ball 1. The 1-0, going to be a big swing and a miss for strike 1. The 1-1. That one going to be grounded foul down the left field line. Count moves to 1-2 on Erd.
Now,
1 out on the board for the T-Bolts.
MLB draft update number 2. The Cincinnati Reds have selected Wake Forest pitcher Chase Burns, 2nd overall.
The 1-2 to Erd. Gonna be just a hair outside for ball 2. Count goes even on Erd. 1 out on the board for the T-Bolts. 2-2. That one gonna be fouled off towards the Big Train dugout.
Now we've said it a few times throughout the season, not many pitchers in this league, especially starting pitchers, last as long as Sam Mitchell has today.
As the count moves full on Erd.
And waiting on deck is the left fielder Villa.
The full count. That one gonna be lined past the extended glove of Nato, reaching the back corner of the left field. Erd gonna take his base at first. He'll hole up there.
That's happened a few times to Nato now, and a few other Big Train players who have played third this season. They go for the backhand stop only for the ball to scurry under their glove.
Now up at the plate, the left fielder Quincy Villa, and around the league is the top of the 7th. The Braves at PG Community College trailing by 1, Grays lead 5-4. As the first offering to Villa in there for strike 1. The Giants in Olney, it's the bottom of the 5th, Giants leading 3-2. And the Senators are over in Alexandria. It's the top of the 3rd, Aces lead 3-0. Count 1-1 on Quincy Villa. Again, 1 out on the board, a runner on first. The 1-1 to Villa. That gonna be grounded foul down the left field line. Count moves 1-2 on Villa. The 1-2, that one fouled off. Villa will stay alive at the plate. Again, it's 1 out on the board for the T-Bolts. A runner on first and Josh Erd.
Situation seems right for a double play.
The 1-2, gonna be upstairs for ball 2.
But that off speed, getting away from Mitchell a bit. Pretty sure that's not where he wanted to locate that one.
The 2-2, gonna be low and outside. Count moves full on Villa.
That one a lot more effectively located. Unfortunately, Villa not taking the bait on the off speed, tailing low and outside.
The 3-2, that one gonna be popped high into left center field, but diving after it is Christopher Diaz. Can't get a good glove on it. Erd will round home, and it's gonna be Quincy Villa with a triple. T-Bolts have now extended their lead 3-1. That was unfortunate. Looks like it just trampolined out of Diaz's glove.
I know that Chris Diaz didn't catch that one, but Phoebe, that might have been the sickest diving attempt I have seen all season. Chris Diaz, that was a full extension. Did a somersault at the end, just couldn't corral it. Was a little bit shaken up after, but looks to be okay. Holy cow, what an effort.
What an effort. Unfortunate that he wasn't able to make the catch, but he really put his all into it. I think it really just bounced off his glove. So the T-Bolts now leading 3-1. Have a runner at third in Quincy Villa after he nailed in a triple up at the plate. Number 32, Ryan Quadros, first offering gonna be low for ball 1.
And that last pitch from Mitchell, a fastball that, at least from our angle, a little bit behind the plate, that was pretty square in the zone.
Gonna be grounded to pitcher Mitchell, and the throw from Gonzalez to home, not coming in time. So 2 outs on the board. T-Bolts now leading 4-1. As number 37, the catcher Vance Bonnier, steps up to the plate.
So I feel a little bit for Mitchell there. He did the right thing, which was make sure Villa stayed at third. He looked him off for a couple of seconds, then threw it to first. unfortunately, Villa had a good enough jump and is fast enough to where even when Mitchell made the right play, he was still able to take home.
As the first offering to Bonnier is outside for ball one. Count now 2-0. The 2-0 going to be outside for ball three, and it looks like we are going to see some action in the Big Train bullpen. Looks to be Kevin Scully warming up. The 3-0, that's going to be low for ball four. So Bonnier going to take his base at first. That's going to send up number 34, Gabe Ruiz. Two outs on the board, a runner on first. Mitchell looking to stop the bleeding. Looks like we're going to see a quick mound visit between catcher Luke Vaughn and Sam Mitchell.
Hopefully the two Bama boys can stop the bleeding here in the bottom of the fifth. And speaking of the SEC, Charlie Condon from the University of Georgia just got selected by the Colorado Rockies 3rd overall.
Sorry, the mound visit over there. It is insane to see someone make Luke Vaughn look short. Seeing him stand side by side with Sam Mitchell. That's crazy.
Again, Mitchell listed at 6'7", 230 pounds on the Ripken League website.
So after Vaughn completed his mound visit, he's gonna head back over along with manager Sal Colangelo. And it looks like we are gonna see a pitching change. So that'll end the evening for Sam Mitchell, and we're gonna cut it to a quick commercial break. Stay tuned when we return. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
Wait for me. Keep watching you when you leave. Something new. Keep hoping you feel this too. Holding on and on and on and on. Hoping I can get to know you better. Living in sweet suburbia. Some fun is all we want. Two kids come alive in a night rush. I'll be the girl next door. You be my summer crush.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. Still in the bottom of the fifth. We've got a new pitcher on the bump for the Big Train. Going to be Kevin Scully. First offering to Ruiz is fouled off into the backstop. Count moves 0-1 on Ruiz. Again, T-Bolts scratch across 2 more to extend their lead to 4-1. Still have a runner on first, 2 outs on the board. Ruiz in a 1-0-1 count. The 0-1, that one just outside for ball 1.
Scully, one of 3 Ripken League All-Stars amongst the Big Train pitching staff, along with Max Martzoff and Jonathan Stevens. And Raiden Rittenauer as well, my apologies. 1 of 4, sporting a sub-2 ERA in 14 innings pitched entering tonight.
As the 1-1 going to be outside for ball 2. The 2-1, that one gonna be low for ball 3. Count 3-1 on Ruiz. Again, T-Bolts have a runner at first, 2 outs on the board. The 3-1, that one's gonna be fouled off, making the count full on Ruiz. The 3-2, that one gonna be grounded through the hole. It's a base hit for Ruiz, and Bonnier gonna steal second. That'll send up number 25, the first baseman, Andrew Powers, to the plate. Again, T-Bolts currently leading 4-1, have 2 outs on the board and a runner on first and second.
Powers, another Bethesda native on the T-Bolts, although he did attend private school at St. John's College High School in Washington, D.C.
The first offering to Powers, gonna bounce in the dirt. It'll get away from catcher Luke Vaughn. Bonnier gonna steal third. Ruiz now aboard second. The T-Bolts 5th and 6th potential runs in scoring position.
Now, although Powers has struggled for most of this summer, likely just thankful that he's been able to get a lot of at-bats, as he did not play for VCU last season.
The count 1-0 on Powers, 2 outs on the board. Runners at second and third for the T-Bolts, who are currently leading by 3. The 1-0, that one's gonna be in the dirt for ball 2.
So the T-Bolts, again, looking to keep their wild card hopes alive. The Big Train trying to clinch a playoff spot tonight.
The 2-0, that one's gonna be popped high and fouled off for strike 1.
Also worthy of mention, the Crop Dusters have roared back against the Giants. They lead 8-3 in the bottom of the 6th. Crop Dusters trying to gain ground on the Big Train, who currently hold the number 3 seed in the Ripken League playoffs.
As the 2-1 is ripped into left center field, but under it with the catch and out number 3, Christopher Diaz. So the Big Train leave a couple of bolts stranded on the base path, but not before the T-Bolts scratched across 2 more, now leading 4-1. Big Train looking to strike back from the plate when we return. Stay tuned, you're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. We're heading into the top of the 6th inning. Big Train trailing by 3. T-Bolts scratched across 2 more in the bottom of the 5th, now leading 4-1. It's going to be 6, 7, 8 due up for the Big Train. Crosland going to be kicking things off. New pitcher on the mound for the T-Bolts. It's going to be Christopher Bonilla, his first offering to Crosland, outside for ball 1. The 1-0 outside for ball 2.
Now, Bonilla has struggled so far this season, an 8.25 ERA in 24 innings pitched, although he had a solid outing the last time these two teams met. Pitched 2 shutout innings, allowing just 2 hits.
Is the 2-0 just in there for ball 1, sorry, for strike 1.
Faced 8 batters and struck out 4 of them.
The 2-1, that one getting fouled off of Crosland. The count even at 2 on Crosland. Looks like it hit his upright bat, might have caught his fingers a bit. The T-Bolts athletic trainer stepping over to check on Crosland.
And bat boy Owen Lieber there for moral support. Making sure all of Crosland's fingers are intact. Seems to be all right for now. Definitely not a fun place to get hit. We saw Mookie Betts earlier this season get hit on the hand, as well as Aaron Judge. But
So
it looks like Crosland's okay.
And that's going to be ruled a hit by pitch. So Crosland will take his base at first, and that'll send up left fielder Christopher Diaz. Been putting up a ton of work in left field this evening. Had a base hit during his previous at-bat, looking for some similar success from the plate. Again, the Big Train have a lot of work ahead of them, currently trailing by 3 runs. First offering to Diaz, gonna be fouled off into the backstop for strike 1.
I'll still be thinking about that dive after the game, most likely. It was so poetic. The feet flew in the air, the hat came off. Diaz did a full somersault, but just couldn't come up with the catch.
As Crosland will be chased back to first. Count 0-1 on Diaz. No outs on the board for the Big Train, who have a runner on first. The 0-1. That one going to be popped high and out of play for strike 2.
Waiting on deck is Vaughn.
Vaughn been making good contact on the ball, but unable to reach base so far this evening. The 0-2 runner goes. Catch from Bonnier over to shortstop. Not in time. So Crosland makes it over to second. The count 1-2 on Diaz. A valiant speeding effort from Crosland has now put the Big Train's second run in scoring position, as Diaz will swing and miss to record out number 1. Gonna be Luke Vaughn stepping up to the plate.
Now that steal from Crosland ties Jaden Bastion for the team lead with 11. Sebastian not getting the start tonight.
First offering to Vaughn. Gonna land in the dirt for ball one. Crosland still at second.
Now let's see if Vaughn, the Ripken League All-Star, can come through and put multiple runners on base for Matthew Westley, who's waiting on deck.
As the 1-0 gonna be low and outside for ball two. Can see Jack Guerrero juggling over at the Big Train dugout.
Oh, wow.
Impressive skill. Crosland will go for third and unfortunately gets tagged out by Quadros. Saw Bonilla's head on a swivel. Saw Crosland go for the steal and was able to gun him down at third. 2 outs on the board now for the Big Train. Vaughn facing a 2-0 count.
Looked like Crosland tried to pull off a swim move, but was unable to do so successfully.
The 2-0, Allen, gonna be in there for strike one. So 2 outs on the board for the Big Train, no runners on base. Vaughn facing a 2-1 count. The 2-1, that one's gonna be grounded past pitcher Bonilla, scooped up by Heckman at second. He'll flip it over to Powers at first to record out number 3. Big Train held scoreless, still trailing by 3. Stay tuned as we head into the bottom of the 6th inning. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
On and on and on and on, hoping I can get to know you better, living in sweet suburbia. Some fun is all we want. 2 kids come alive in a night rush. I'll be the girl next door, you be my summer crush. Yeah, I think you should come and pick me up, 'cause nothing feels as good as summer. Two kids come alive in a night rush. I'll be the girl next door, you be my summer crush. Yeah, I think you should come and pick me up, 'cause nothing feels as good as summer.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the bottom of the 6th inning. T-Bolt still leading 4-1. Kevin Scully on the bump for the Big Train. First up to bat is Mike Heckman. He'll take that first offering low for ball one.
And in semi sort of local college baseball news,
The 1-0 gonna be low and outside for ball two.
now in semi-local college baseball news, West Virginia's J.J. Weatherholt has just been selected by the St. Louis Cardinals, 7th overall in the MLB draft. So the Country Roads will be taking him to his new home in St. Louis, Missouri.
As the 2-0 gonna be outside for ball three.
Now it is widely debated if the song Country Roads by John Denver is actually about West Virginia, or a western part of Virginia, or even a part of Maryland.
The 3-0, that's in there for strike one. Heckman thinking that might have been ball 4, preparing to take his base. He'll have to stay at the plate to face the 3-1 count. Here comes the 3-1. That one's going to be outside for ball 4. So Heckman going to take his base. That'll send up the right fielder, number 11, Matthew Walters. Recorded a double during his first at-bat this evening. And around the league, it's the bottom of the 8th at PG Community College. Braves leading 7-5 over the Grays. Top of the 7th in Olney. Crop Dusters a commanding 8-3 lead over the Giants. As the first offering to Walter is going to be outside for ball 1. And it's the bottom of the 4th in Alexandria. Aces leading 7-1 over the Senators.
The Aces looking to capture the 1 seed in the Ripken League for the 2nd consecutive season.
As the 1-0 going to be fouled off over the T-Bolts dugout for strike 1.
As you said, Phoebe currently beating up on the Senators, who are in a dogfight to try and host one of the 2 play-in games.
The 1-1, that one going to be lined through the hole. It's going to drop for a base hit, and the runners will advance to third. Trying to make it home is Heckman, and he will do so successfully. T-Bolts have now extended their lead to 4 and still have a runner in scoring position at second. No outs on the board.
So Heckman stopped his steal attempt about halfway down the path between first and second base, and as that ball was lined into right field, I thought, oh, Heckman should have just kept going, but turns out it wouldn't have mattered as he ended up scoring anyway.
That records Walter's 2nd double of the evening. Now up at the plate, the designated hitter, Jeff Sabater. First offering to Sabater, he'll show bunt, but retract. Wouldn't have mattered as the ball was low for ball 1.
And the great part about the T-Bolts lineup tonight is that if the bottom of the order is hitting well as they have tonight, you'd think it might stop at some point, but then it's like, surprise, here's one of the best hitters in the entire league.
As the 1-0, Sabater showed bunt but retracted at the last second. Count moves to 2-0 on Sabater. The 2-0. That one in there for strike 1. So again, it's Sabater at the plate. Walters at second after recording his 2nd double of the evening. Count 2-1 on Sabater. No outs on the board for the T-Bolts. We're leading 5-1. He'll lay down a bunt and it'll get fouled into the catcher, Luke Vaughn, moving the count even at 2 on Sabater. Can see some more action over in the Big Train bullpen. The 2-2 to Sabater. That one in there for strike 3 and out number 1.
That's a really good pitch from Scully, a slider going outside right back into the zone. It didn't look like Sabater was sitting on it, but he'll have to sit back down now as the top of the order back up for the T-Bolts with Josh Erd.
Erd recorded a base hit during his previous at-bat, has been 2 for 3 so far this evening. First offering in there for strike 1. Again, it's Matthew Walters at second, representing the T-Bolts' potential 6th run. He'll go for third. The 0-1 in there for strike 2. So Walters now at third, count 0-2 on Erd.
I thought Walters might get there before Scully even threw that pitch. That is probably the best jump I have seen from any base runner on any team we've gotten the chance to see this summer, as we're going to see Keenan Bowman and the rest of the Big Train infield cheat in with the runner on third and less than 2 outs.
The 0-2, that one low and outside. Check swing, did he go around? Yes, he did. So that's going to be strike 3 and out number 2 for the T-Bolts. That'll send up the left fielder, Quincy Villa. Again, T-Bolts now with 2 outs on the board, still have a runner in scoring position at third in Matthew Walters. So another big K for relief pitcher Kevin Scully. First offering gonna be in there for strike 1. The 0-1 to Villa. That one gonna be popped high into right field, and it'll land out of play. Foul. Moving the count 0-2 on Villa. Walters gonna have to track back to third.
Thought Whitaker might have had a chance. We saw him make a diving catch yesterday in a similar part of right field.
The count 0-2 on Villa. 2 outs on the board. Villa recorded a triple during his last at-bat, which helped extend the T-Bolts lead. The 0-2, that one's gonna be popped high into right center field, and Whitaker with the catch in out number 3. So the Big Train leave one stranded at third, but not before the T-Bolts extend their lead 5-1. Big Train looking to strike back from the plate when we return. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
Wait for me. Keep watching you when you leave. Something new. Keep hoping you feel this too. Holding on and on and on and on. Hoping I can get to know you better. Living in sweet suburbia. Some fun is all we want. 2 kids come alive.
Inning. T-Bolts tap their lead, now leading 5-1. Matthew Wesley, the 4th inning. First offering gonna bounce in the dirt. Count goes 1-0 on Wesley. Big Train have a lot of work ahead of them, have not scored since the top of the 1st inning. Looking to reinvigorate the bats and make a comeback in the later innings, as the 1-0 gonna be fouled off into the backstop for strike 1.
This has become a bit of a trend for the Train. Score early, but unable to keep it going throughout the middle and later parts of the game.
As the 1-1 gonna be fouled off for strike 2.
Now, I'm sure the Big Train would love if Matthew Wesley could become a more focal part of the lineup.
As the 1-2 gonna be outside for ball 2. Count goes even on Wesley. 2-2. That one grounded shallowly, scooped up by second baseman Heckman. He'll toss it to Powers on first to record out number 1 for the Big Train. Now stepping up to the plate, Justin Nadeau had a great start to the evening with a base hit, followed it up with a walk. With one out on the board for the Big Train, who are currently trailing by 4, looking to create some positive momentum from the plate. First offering going to be high for ball 1.
Now throughout this summer, it's been the top half of the lineup doing most of the damage for the Big Train.
The 1-0. That one's in there for strike 1.
They're going to need to start producing if they want to clinch a playoff spot tonight.
The 1-1. That one upstairs for ball 2.
Would also keep them up a game and a half against the Crop Dusters, who look to be on their way to a victory over the Giants.
As the 2-1 is fouled off down the right field line. Count goes even
They're
on Nadeau.
currently leading Gaithersburg 8-3 in the top of the 7th.
The 2-2 to Nadeau outside for ball 3. Count now full on Nadeau, 1 out on the board for the Big Train. The 3-2, that one gonna be high for ball 4. Nadeau will take his base at first, and that's gonna send up the center fielder Andrew Williamson. Been having a pretty successful night from the plate so far.
Now I thought that off speed from Bonilla might dip back into the zone, but just not enough break there.
Again, Williamson has reached base on all 3 at-bats so far this evening. First offering, swung on and missed for strike 1. The 0-1, that one fouled off down the right field line. Count goes 0-2 on Williamson. Nadeau still aboard first. The 0-2, that one gonna land in the dirt for ball 1. Count 1-2 on Williamson, 1 out on the board for the Big Train, who have a runner on first and Justin Nadeau.
Waiting on deck is Keenan Bowman.
As the 1-2 gonna be grounded through the hole. Nadeau hopping over it as he makes his way over to second. Williamson has now put runners on first and second for the shortstop Keenan Bowman.
We see a jumping gator here at Montgomery Blair High School. A great job of Nadeau, as you said, Phoebe, hopping over the ground ball that looked like it would have hit him if he hadn't jumped.
First offering to Bowman. Gonna bounce in the dirt, getting away from catcher Bonier with that. Nadeau will steal third. Thought about going home, but will remain there. Williamson advances to second.
Considering how little game left and how little the Big Train have been able to get multiple runners on base throughout the middle and as we go into the late part of this game, probably a good decision by Nadeau to hold up at third. Big Train trying to avert running into any more outs here. We saw Jordan Crosland 1-1 earlier.
So the count 1-0 on Bowman. Big Train have 2 runners in scoring position in Williamson and Nadeau at second and third respectively, as Bonilla gonna take a couple of extra warm-up pitches. Bowman stepping out of the batter's box.
And now a more local baseball update. The Washington Nationals have made their selection. They have taken Seaver King, a shortstop out of Wake Forest. Yet another Demon Deacon off the board.
The 1-0 to Bowman. Going to be fouled off into the backstop for strike one.
Wake Forest has established themselves as arguably the best Carolina baseball school over the past few seasons. Unable, however, to repeat the success they achieved last season.
As the 1-1 going to be swung on and missed for strike two.
Definitely had some quality competition from North Carolina and Clemson as well.
So the count 1-2 on Bowman, 1 out on the board for the Big Train, who have runners in scoring position at second and third. Haven't scored since the first inning. Looking to eat into the 4-run score deficit here. The 1-2. That one low for ball two. Count goes even on Bowman. The 2-2. That one gonna be fouled off towards the Big Train dugout. Bowman will stay alive at the plate.
Now, when we've seen Bowman make high quality contact with the baseball, he's usually been able to pull it towards the left field line. That included the home run he hit in the All-Star game at the Only Boys and Girls Club last week.
The 2-2. That one gonna be grounded softly to Heckman at second, who will flip it over to Powers to record out number 2, but Nadeau has scratched across the second run of the evening for the Big Train. Williamson advanced to third as Emilio Gonzalez will step up to the plate.
So a productive ground out there for Bowman. Let's see if Gonzalez can keep the inning alive. Now a similar story to Bowman. When Gonzalez gets all of a baseball, it tends to go pretty far. If he's able to here, I think the Blair Pig out in right field might get a little visitor from a baseball.
First offering to Gonzalez going to be low and in the dirt, gets away from Bonnier, but Williamson will remain at third. Count 1-0 on Gonzalez.
I think Williamson and myself expected that ball to bounce further towards the T-Bolts dugout. Williamson had a hefty lead off of third. I don't think he realized how far off of third he was until I think Galvin Morris said something to him.
As the 1-0 swung on and missed for strike one.
Now you see that fastball tailing away from Gonzalez has given him a bit of trouble so far this season, although he was able to put good wood on a baseball high and away earlier in the game.
The 1-1 to Gonzalez. That one grounded to the pitcher Bonilla. He'll flip it over to Powers to record out number 3. So the Big Train leave one stranded at third, but not before they scratch across one more. Have cut the T-Bolts lead down to 3. Stay tuned as we head into the bottom of the 7th. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the bottom of the 7th inning. Big Train able to scratch one across in the top of the 7th to cut the T-Bolts lead down to 3. First up at the plate gonna be Ryan Quadros. He'll take that first offering outside for ball 1. It's Kevin Scully still on the mound for the Big Train.
Quadros having a really good night so far, and as we said earlier, a really good season.
As the 2-0 gonna be in there for strike 1. The 2-1 gonna be low for ball 3. The 3-1 gonna land in the dirt for ball 4. Quadros gonna take his base at first. That's gonna send up the catcher. Vance Bonier was walked during his previous at-bat.
Bonier, a two-way player. It'll be interesting to see if he continues that at UMass Amherst or chooses either offense or defense full-time. Definitely has the pitching chops to do that full-time as a fastball that tops out around 90 miles an hour as well as a slider.
First offering to Bonier gonna be in there for strike 1. The 0-1 in there for strike 2. Count now 0-2 on Bonier again. T-Bolts have a runner on first, currently leading by 3. The 0-2, that one gonna be popped high into left field, but under it with the glove catch, and out number 1 is Christopher Diaz.
That one off the end of the bat of Bonier, but able to still pull it into left field. Unfortunately for him, Diaz barely even having to move there for out number 1.
Now up at the plate, center fielder Gabe Ruiz. Again, it's Quadros over at first for the T-Bolts, who now have 1 out on the board. First offering gonna be low for ball 1. Again, can see some action in the Big Train bullpen. The 1-0, gonna be a hair outside for ball 2. The 2-0, that one in there for strike 1.
Now some developments around the Ripken League. The Braves have taken a commanding 11-5 lead over the Grays, so if they're able to hold on there, they will not only hold the tiebreaker over the Grays, they'll actually hold a 1-game lead as well.
As the 2-1 gonna be in there for strike 2.
The Crop Dusters up 9-3 on the Giants in the bottom of the 7th. The Aces up 9-1 on the Senators in the bottom of the 5th.
The 2-2, that one grounded to Nato at third. He fires it over to Gonzalez at first, but not in time. So T-Bolts now have runners on first and second for number 25, Andrew Powers. Unfortunate slide in the dirt for Nato on the catch, wasn't able to fire it off to first in time.
I actually think that slide helped him. The ball just took a very funky bounce, but Nato was somehow able to glove it and get a very accurate throw over to first. That was just barely not in time, though.
We're going to see a mound visit over to pitcher Kevin Scully by manager Sal Colangelo. As we mentioned, there is action in the Big Train bullpen. And it looks like we are going to see a pitching change for the Big Train, so we're going to cut it to a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. Pitcher on the bump for the Big Train. It's going to be Evan Hart coming in to relieve Kevin Scully. And it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter for the T-Bolts, number 26, Braden Foster, first offering. Going to be outside for ball one.
Foster's been a regular starter for the T-Bolts. Appeared as if he might have the night off, but making an appearance in a substitution role here in the bottom of the 7th.
The 1-0. That one going to be popped high and foul. Count moves to 1-1 on Foster. Again, the T-Bolts currently have one out on the board, but runners on first and second. They lead by 3. Score is currently 5-2.
Hart actually picked up the win the last time these two teams played, although he pitched just 1 inning.
The 1-1 is fouled off towards the Big Train dugout, moving the count 1-2 on Foster.
That off speed was squared up really well by Foster, just a tad early on the swing.
The 1-2 to Foster. That one fouled off. So Foster will stay alive on the 1-2 count. So the game has gone final in Prince George's Community College. Braves taking an 11-7 victory over the DC Grays. Bottom of the 8th between the Giants and the Crop Dusters. Crop Dusters leading 9-4 as Foster will ground that to third base. It skips past the glove of Nato. And with that, the T-Bolts have scored their 6th run of the evening. Have runners on second and third.
That one, an unfortunate sequence for Nato. That ball just died. It looked like on the border where the grass and the dirt meet in the infield. That's happened a few times now to the Big Train this season.
It's the top of the 6th over in Alexandria. The Aces pounding on the Senators, currently leading 13-1. As first offering to number 23, going to be grounded to the glove of Gonzalez to record out number 2, but not before the T-Bolts scratch across their 7th run of the evening. Now up at the plate, number 11, Matthew Walters, 2 outs on the board. A runner on third. First offering going to land in the dirt. Foster will stay at third. Count 1-0 on Walters. The 1-0 outside for ball 2, but it was swung on and missed, so that's going to be strike 1, actually. Count 1-1 on Walters.
Love that fastball that tails away from righties.
The 1-1 popped high and foul, so the count moving 1-2 on Walters.
That one not as much movement, but like a lot of these relief pitchers for the Big Train, Hart, a ton of velocity.
The 1-2 outside for ball 2. Walters not taking the bait this time. Count goes even at 2. 2 outs on the board, a runner on third. The 2-2, that one's outside for ball 3. Count moving full on Walters. The 3-2. That one in there for strike 3. Walters thought it was ball 4. Unfortunately, he's going to have to walk it back to the dugout. So Evan sends him down looking, but not before the T-Bolts scratch across 2 more to bring their lead to 5. Stay tuned as we head into the top of the 8th inning. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
watching you when you leave. Something new. Keep hoping you feel this too. Holding on and on and on and on. Hoping I can get to know you better. Living in sweet suburbia. Some fun is all we want. Two kids come alive in a night rush. I'll be the girl next door. You be my summer crush. Yeah, I think you should come and pick me up. 'Cause nothing feels as good as summer love.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network as we head into the top of the 8th inning. Big Train trailing by 5. T-Bolt scratched across 2 more to bring the score 7-2 in favor of the home team. A new pitcher on the bump. It's going to be Emilio Rodriguez up at the plate. Davin Whitaker first. Offering is low and in the dirt. Bounces into the netting at the backstop. Count 1-0 on Whitaker.
So Rodriguez this summer, it's going to be his 6th appearance, a 5.19 ERA in just under 9 innings pitched.
The 1-0. That one lined through the hole, scooped up by Erd. He'll fire it over to first, but not in time for the speedy Davin Whitaker. He's put a runner on base for Jordan Crosland to take to the plate. That's the first time this evening Davin Whitaker has reached base, and what a time to do so. Top of the 8th inning. Big Train trailing by 5 runs. Gonna need a lot of action across the base path if they want to make a comeback. First offering to Crosland, gonna land in the dirt for ball 1.
Now last season for Wilson College, Rodriguez, there's 76 strikeouts in 55 1/3 innings pitched, just a 166 batting average against.
As the 1-0 will be in there for strike 1.
Works with a fastball, changeup, curveball, and slider. That fastball topping out at around 92 miles an hour.
The 1-1, that one landing in the dirt for ball 2. Count 2-1 on Crosland. Whitaker aboard first, no outs on the board for the Big Train.
Rodriguez actually picked up a win, his first and only of the season, in his last appearance on July 6th against the Giants.
As the 2-1 will land in the dirt for ball 3.
Allowed just 1 hit and threw 6 strikeouts in just 2 innings pitched. In fact, 3 of his 5 appearances this season have come against the Giants.
The 3-1, that one landing in the dirt for ball 4, so Crosland will take his base. Whitaker getting bumped to second as Christopher Diaz, the left fielder, gonna take to the plate. Diaz has been put to work out in left field this evening, has made a couple of excellent catches. No outs on the board for the Big Train, who now have runners on first and second. Diaz will show bunt, but retract that ball, gets away from catcher Bonyer, and with that, both runners will advance, putting the Big Train's potential 3rd and 4th run in scoring position.
Honestly, that's one of my favorite bunts, is when the batter doesn't actually have to lay down a bunt, because the ball got away and allowed the runners to advance into scoring position anywho.
Count 1-0 on Diaz. Runners on second and third. No outs on the board for the Big Train. He'll show bunt again, but retract at the last second for ball 2.
Now, we've seen Diaz show bunt, then retract a lot this season, but definitely an interesting situation to do so with runners at second and third. That'd have to be a really good bunt in order to score Whitaker from third.
The 2-0 gonna land in the dirt for ball 3. Diaz sitting in favor of the count with runners in scoring position. at second and third. The 3-0. That one upstairs for ball 4, and with that, Diaz will load the bases for catcher Luke Vaughn. And we're going to see a mound visit over to Emilio Rodriguez, a rough start to his relief appearance. But a great outcome for the Big Train, who now have bases loaded, no outs on the board.
So they have completed step 1, which was get multiple runners on base at the same time. Now step 2 is actually sending them in. That's proven to be difficult at times this season, but Luke Vaughn, a pretty good guy to try and send at least one of these guys home. It's Whitaker on third, Crosland on second, and Diaz at first.
Vaughn is yet to be struck out this evening, although he has yet to reach first. He's gonna show bunt and retract at the last second, but it's in there for strike 1. Count 0-1 on Vaughn. The 0-1, that one gonna be fouled off for strike 2.
Looked like Vaughn wanted to hold up at the last second, but his body had already committed to the swing fully.
So Vaughn in an 0-2 hole. No outs on the board for the Big Train, who have bases loaded. As the 0-2 will be fouled off into the backstop, Vaughn will stay alive at the plate. The 0-2, that one upstairs for ball 1.
That's a good pitch, just likely incorrect location there from Rodriguez.
The 1-2, that one's upstairs for ball 2.
Thought that one might stay in the top part of the zone, but just so much run there on the fastball, elevating it outside.
So Vaughn has battled back from the 0-2 count, now sitting even at 2-2. Here comes the 2-2. That one's gonna be swung on and missed for strike 3 and out number 1. That's gonna send up Matthew Wesley to the plate. 1 out on the board for the Big Train, who still have bases loaded. First offering to Wesley, in there for strike 1.
There's that fastball again. Rodriguez was able to lower it in order to strike out Vaughn there in the last at-bat.
Hear a lot of commotion coming out of the T-Bolts dugout. They're feeling pretty good at the moment. The 0-1 in there for strike 2.
And just a few pitches ago, we saw that same curveball land upstairs. Just so much break there.
The 0-2, that one's fouled off into the backstop. Wesley will stay alive on the 0-2 count. The 0-2, that one too high, gonna be ball 1, count moving 1-2 on Wesley. 1 out on the board for the Big Train, who have the bases loaded.
I do like that pitch a lot. We've seen the Big Train swing and miss on high heat a lot this season, but good for Wesley for not taking the bait there.
The 1-2 upstairs for ball 2. So once again, the Big Train batter fighting back on the 0-2 count. Count now 2-2 on Wesley. The 2-2. That one outside for ball 3. Count was full on Wesley.
And waiting on deck is Justin Nadeau. Already made an impact tonight.
The 3-2. That one outside for ball 4. So Wesley gonna walk in the 3rd run of the evening for the Big Train, who have now cut the T-Bolts lead down to 4. Justin Nadeau up at the plate, bases still loaded, only 1 out on the board for the Big Train.
Nadeau representing the tying run here.
He's had a pair of walks this evening, looking for some similar success at the plate. As you said, the tying run at the plate. Oh! Nearly hit by the pitch. It was outside for ball 1. Count 1-0 on Nadeau, 1 out on the board, bases loaded up for the Big Train. The 1-0 popped high into left field. Under it with the catch is Villa. Runner will not tag up, so bases still loaded. 2 outs on the board for the hitting machine, Andrew Williamson.
Now, I'd say Andrew Williamson has already solidified himself as one of the best, if not the best player in the Ripken League. But boy, oh boy, this could be his one shining moment if he's able to get a hold of one here.
A golden opportunity for Andrew Williamson, has bases loaded. 2 outs on the board. Representing the tying run, first offering fouled off into the backstop for strike 1. Now, we mentioned Williamson has reached base during every game he's played this season, has already done so, but has been known to record a double very often, paying his rent over at second base, as the 0-1 gonna land in the dirt for ball 1. So the count 1-1 on Williamson, 2 outs on the board, bases loaded. The 1-1 outside for ball 2.
It's funny, we've seen the T-Bolts dugout a handful of times in these close contests get lively, very in support of their pitcher and not as supportive of the opposing batter.
The 2-1 swung on and missed for strike 2. Count going even on Williamson. And the 2-2 is skied. It's over the wall. It's a grand slam for Andrew Williamson. He has tied this game at 7. A little less commotion from the T-Bolts dugout now.
Holy cow, he actually did it. I said this could be his one shining moment, and he actually did it.
Andrew Williamson, a golden piece in this Big Train lineup. What a night. A home run grand slam. You can see the entire Big Train dugout giving him a high five as he returns to the dugout with 2 outs on the board. A tie ball game. It's shortstop Keenan Bowman at the plate.
That's insane. Those are the moments you think about, you dream about ever since you're at a very young age playing baseball. Andrew Williamson actualizing it here. So that ties him for the league lead in home runs with Carter Groen and puts him in the outright lead for RBIs.
What a night to be Andrew Williamson.
They say actions speak louder than words. T-Bolt's a little quieter now after that grand slam from Andrew Williamson. And it looks like we're going to have a new pitcher here for the T-Bolts.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break here while the T-Bolts new pitcher warms up, but stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
I can get to know you better living. It's
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network. An electric top of the 8th inning. Andrew Williamson, a grand slam that has tied this game at 7. Pitching change for the T-Bolts. It's going to be Bobby Fleming stepping in. First offering to Bowman outside for ball 1.
Now, momentum isn't something you can see or hold in the palm of your hand, but it's certainly something that you can feel. And I don't want to speak for anybody else, but I could feel the momentum completely change.
Bang! The 1-0 line through the hole.
Okay, Mike Brain. Nice call.
Bowman on first as first baseman Emilio Gonzalez steps up to the plate. The go-ahead run now at first.
As the great Michael Scott once said, oh, how the turntables. ...
Looks like
Oh, we're going to have a pinch runner.
Jaden Bastian making an appearance. Bastian, one of the speediest members of the Big Train lineup, going to come in to pinch run for Keenan Bowman.
Tied with Jordan Crosland for the team lead in steals with 11 so far this season.
First offering to Gonzalez. In there for strike 1, tailing in at the last second. Count 0-1 on Gonzalez. The go-ahead run at first, and pinch runner Bastian. The 0-1, that one's outside for ball 1.
So all games except this one have gone final. The Aces mercy ruling the Senators by a score of 14-1.
As the 1-1 tailing in there at the last second for strike 2.
And the Crop Dusters taking care of the Giants by a final score of 9-5.
The 1-2 runner goes, but lined foul down the right field line. Gonzalez will stay alive to face the 1-2 count. Bastian will track back on over to first.
There's a chance. Now, I'll have to do some very extensive research if I want to find this out, but the amount of stolen bases that have been taken away by foul balls, I feel like it's been somewhere around equal to the actual amount of stolen bases the Big Train have allocated so far this season.
As the 1-2 going to be swung on and missed for strike 3 and out number 3. But folks, we've got a tie ball game here. Andrew Williamson hitting in a grand slam to tie things up at 7. Looking to take the lead when we return. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.
The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train, ride the boogie train till the sun comes up. Meet me in the corner alone. 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 Boogie down, fix up. Boogie down, fix up. The juice is in the mix, it'll fix you up. I'm gonna ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Till the sun comes up. Ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train, ride that boogie train till the sun comes up. Hey baby, I love the way you move. Say hey baby, I love the way you go.
Back to the Big Train Baseball Network. Going to be the bottom of the 8th inning. Big Train have tied the game at 7. Andrew Williamson hitting in a grand slam Evan Hart's first offering to Jeff Sabater, the designated hitter for the T-Bolts. Low for ball one. The 1-0. That one fouled to pitcher Hart. He'll flip it over to Gonzalez, making an easy first out. That'll send up the top of the order. Josh Erd was struck out during his last at bat, going 2 for 4 so far this evening. With one out on the board, the T-Bolts' hefty lead has disappeared into thin air. First offering to Erd, gonna bounce in the dirt for ball one.
Now Erd's been almost equally as productive this summer as he was last season for Frederick Community College. Recorded 52 hits, a homer, and 29 RBIs. A local product hailing from Rockville, attending Thomas S. Wooten High School.
As the 1-0 in there for strike one. Count now 1-1 on Erd. It's one out on the board for the T-Bolts. The 1-1 sailing past the shoulder of Erd. It's gonna move the count to 2-1 on Erd.
We've been hearing some tunes next to us adjacent to the baseball stadium here at Montgomery Blair. Chin music being added to the playlist here.
As the 2-1 low for ball three. Count now 3-1 on Erd. One out on the board for the T-Bolts. The 3-1. That one gonna be in there for strike two. Count moves full on Erd. One out on the board for the T-Bolts again. The Big Train has tied this game at 7 after a 5 spot in the top of the 8th. The full count gonna be high for ball four, so Erd gonna walk out to first. That'll send up the left fielder Quincy Villa. Had a triple earlier this evening. Again, it's one out on the board for the T-Bolts, who now have one runner on first. First offering to Villa. That one just a tad outside for ball one.
Now the Big Train haven't turned a double play yet tonight, but this opportunity definitely ripe for one.
The 1-0 high for ball two. So the count now 2-0 on Villa, one out on the board, a runner on first. The 2-0, that one gonna be in there for strike one.
As I've heard Evan Hart say many a times, that's paint.
The 2-1, that one's in the dirt for ball three. Count now 3-1 on Villa.
And Quadros, a dangerous hitter waiting on deck.
The 3-1, that one in there for strike two. Count goes full on Villa. So the count full on Villa, one out on the board, one runner on base for the T-Bolts. The 3-2, that one popped high into left field. At the wall is Diaz with the glove catch, and out number two. So now with 2 outs on the board, T-Bolts still have one runner on first, and it's gonna be Ryan Quadros stepping up to the plate. Was walked during his previous at-bat. Looks like we're gonna see a mound visit over to Evan Hart. And it looks like we're gonna see a pitching change. It looks to be Mad Max time, so we're gonna take a quick commercial break, but stay tuned when we return with the bottom of the 8th.
Holding on and on and on and on, hoping I can get to know you better. Living, it's sweet.
Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network, folks. It's Mad Max time. Max Martzoff stepping up to the mound. It's Ryan Quadros at the plate. T-Bolts have a runner on first, 2 outs on the board. As the count moves 0-1 on Quadros, big swing and a miss.
That one a fastball low and outside, painting the corner to start things off.
The 0-1, that one low for ball 1. Count moving 1-1 on Quadros. Again, 2 outs on the board for the T-Bolts. They have 1 runner on first. The 1-1 in there for strike 2. Count 1-2 on Quadros. 2 outs on the board for the T-Bolts. The 1-2. That one low for ball 2.
A couple of these pitches from Martzoff running a bit too inside.
The 2-2. That one fouled off. So Quadros will stay alive at the plate.
Now Martzoff, no stranger to not just crunch time situations, but crunch time situations here at Montgomery Blair. Succeeded his first time around. Hopefully for the Big Train, he can do it again.
As the 2-2 is in there for strike 3 and out number 3. T-Bolts leave one stranded. It's still a tie game at 7. Big Train looking to take the lead when we return with the top of the 9th. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Big Train Baseball Network. Baseball Network, top of the 9th. Tie ball game at 7 runs after a 5-spot and a grand slam from Andrew Williamson. First up at the plate, gonna be Davin Whitaker. It's still Bobby Fleming on the mound for the T-Bolts. First offering to Whitaker. Gonna be swung on and missed for strike 1.
We officially welcome you here to Crunch Time on Big Train Baseball Network. Now this isn't like a segment on NBA TV like they do.
The 0-1 swung on and missed for strike 2. Count moving 0-2 on Whitaker.
But we have definitely entered a different airspace here at Montgomery Blair High School.
The 0-2, that one outside for ball 1. Whitaker fighting back from the 0-2 count. The 1-2. That one's upstairs for ball 2. Count moves even on Whitaker.
Looked like that one might have painted the corner high and outside, but that one just tailing away at the last second.
The 2-2. That one's fouled off. Whitaker will stay alive on the 2-2 count. The 2-2. That one outside for ball 3. Count moves full on Whitaker. The 3-2. Gonna be outside for ball 4. Whitaker will toss his bat as he walks on out to first.
Now possibly good luck being emitted from Texas as his teammate, Trey Yesavage, just got drafted by the Blue Jays.
Now up at the plate with a runner on first, no outs on the board, it's Jordan Crosland. We're gonna call time here. Fleming now ready. First offering to Crosland. He shows bunt but retracts. The throw down to second. Not coming in time, so Whitaker successfully stealing second, putting the go-ahead run in scoring position.
It feels like the higher the intensity is, the more aggressive Davin Whitaker becomes on the base paths.
It was not long ago when a sac fly from Josh Skorotsky brought in the winning run in extra innings. Crosland gonna show bunt again but retract at the last second. The count 1-1 on Crosland.
You hear that to the right of us? That's chin music.
Yes, it is. We're gonna see a mound visit over to Fleming. Now the T-Bolts dugout is out of our view, so I can't tell if there is any action going on. But it looks like Fleming's gonna stay in the game. No outs on the board for the Big Train, who have the go-ahead run in scoring position at second. Crosland facing a 1-1 count. Night has fallen here at Blair High School.
Good thing for everyone in the world, it'll get back up in the morning.
Things have grown silent as the tension has risen. Crosland showed bunt, retracted at the last second, but it was in there for strike 2. Count now 1-2 on the second baseman. The 1-2 popped high and foul over the T-Bolts dugout. Crosland will stay alive at the plate. Count 1-2. Have a runner in scoring position at second in Davin Whitaker.
The Big Train looking for their 18th win of the season. The T-Bolts looking for their 13th.
The 1-2 gonna be low for ball 2. Count now even on Crosland.
Crosland swung and missed on a lot of pitches low in the zone. Good on him for not taking the bait there on a ball that looked to be about in the dirt.
Yes. The 2-2 is fouled off into the backstop. Crosland gonna stay alive at the plate. Again, no outs on the board for the Big Train. Count even at 2 on Crosland. Whitaker aboard second. As the 2-2 is nailed out into center field, making the catch is going to be Ruiz. So that'll be out number 1 for the big train. Great contact on the ball for Crossland. Unfortunately, Gabe Ruiz out there in center field to make the catch. Davin Whitaker still aboard second, representing the go-ahead run. It's Christopher Diaz up at the plate for the big train. Diaz was walked during his previous at-bat. Has gone 2 for 4 this evening. First offering to Diaz, gonna be fouled off out of play for strike 1. The 0-1. That one just outside for ball 1. Count 1-1 on the Cal Ripken League All-Star Christopher Diaz. The 1-1 in there for strike 2. Count now 1-2 on Diaz. There's 1 out on the board for the big train, who have the go-ahead run in scoring position. The 1-2 swung on and missed for strike 3 and out number 2. So now it's crunch time from the plate. Luke Vaughn hoping to bring in the go-ahead run off of second.
Now Vaughn is yet to reach base tonight, but perhaps he can be another reminder of why baseball is such a uniquely cool profession. You can succeed about 25% of the time and be considered pretty good at your job.
First offering to Vaughn, outside and high for ball 1.
And pertaining to this situation, Vaughn could change the game and sweep his previous 4 at-bats relatively under the rug if he's able to bring in Whitaker from second.
That's the 1-0. Gonna hit him square on the back. Just nailing his left shoulder there. So Vaughn gonna take his base at first, has now put runners on first and second for the designated hitter Matthew Wesley. So maybe not how he wanted to reach base for the first time this evening, but he'll take it anyway.
All that matters in this juncture of the game for both teams, but right now the big train is that runners are getting on base.
First offering to Wesley, outside for ball 1.
Wesley, another example of, and potentially another example of, succeeding 25% of the time, is pretty all right, batting just under 200 this summer, but could change the game and the season with 1 swing.
The 1-0 gonna be swung on and missed for strike 1. Again, with 2 outs on the board, big train has the go-ahead run at second in Davin Whitaker and a runner on first.
Now we've seen the power from Wesley, whether it was a few days ago here in Silver Spring during batting practice or in the first game of the season against the Giants where he went yard.
The 1-1 gonna land in the dirt and get away from Bonnier with that. Whitaker will slide into third. Runners on the corners now for the big train. Wesley facing a 2-1 count.
Smart decision by Bonnier not to throw that one down to third because the cons heavily outweighed the pros. If that one got away from the third baseman Quadros, the go-ahead run scores. So a good job of eating that one and allowing Whitaker to take third.
The 2-1 to Wesley, gonna bounce in the dirt, and Whitaker's gonna go! But the throw, not in time! Whitaker has taken the lead for the big train. Catcher Bonyer tried to flip it over to pitcher Fleming, but just not in time. So with that, Whitaker has given the Big Train an 8-7 lead, and Luke Vaughn took the opportunity to steal second.
In sports, there's a thing called a no, 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 yes play, where the entire time you are thinking no, 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 but then the result happens unexpectedly good, in this case for the Big Train, and then you go yes. Davin Whitaker making it home.
The 2-1 to Wesley swung on and missed for strike two. He is very gutsy with the steals, but he's been incredibly successful. So
I didn't think Whitaker was going to be able to make it home safely. That ball didn't bounce too far away.
full count to Wesley. Swung on and missed. First strike three and out number three, so the Big Train leave one stranded at second, but not before they take the lead. Davin Whitaker, a gutsy move that paid off. Now, Big Train hoping to shut the T-Bolts down in the bottom of the ninth. Stay tuned when we return on the Big Train Baseball Network. Welcome back to the Big Train Baseball Network here at Montgomery Blair High School. It is crunch time, bottom of the ninth. Big Train scratched across one, a gutsy move from Davin Whitaker to come home off of third. First offering to Bonyer in there for strike one. Again, it's Max Martzoff on the mound in relief for the Big Train. The 0-1 swung on and missed for strike two. It's gonna be Bonyer, Ruiz, and then Powers up for the T-Bolts. The 0-2 upstairs for ball one. The 1-2 swung on and missed for strike three and out number one for the T-Bolts.
Martzoff continues to paint these outside corners. I've heard he's called the Michelangelo of the American Southeast. I've actually never heard anyone call him that. I made that up just now.
A huge K for Max Martzoff. As now Gabe Ruiz steps into the plate, he'll take that first offering for strike one. The 0-1, that one just a hair outside for ball one. The 1-1, that's a big swing and a miss from Ruiz for strike two. The 1-2 in there for strike three and out number two. The Big Train now just 1 out away from not only winning this game, but clinching a playoff spot. It's Andrew Powers up at the plate. Has yet to reach base this evening. First offering swung on and missed for strike 1. The 0-1 to Powers, another swing and a miss for strike 2. The 0-2, another swing and a miss for strike 3, and out number 3. Folks, the Big Train has done it again. Some later inning magic bringing them the victory, 8-7. And with that, your Bethesda Big Train has clinched a playoff spot. Quentin, what do you have to say about this game?
I mean, how much time you got? We don't have a ton of time. I don't want to freak out our producer, Jordan Parr. We don't have a ton of time. But my, oh my, the cardiac train strike again. They fall behind in the middle part of the game once again. But so many times they find a way. And that is one of many aspects that make great teams great at any sport, at any level. They continuously find ways to win. Tonight, it was in grand fashion. Andrew Williamson, a game-tying grand slam in the top of the 8th, part of a 5-run top of the 8th that tied this game at 7. Then Max Martzoff, after Davin Whitaker's heroics on the base paths, shutting down the T-Bolts, a near immaculate inning in the bottom of the 9th. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, the Bethesda Big Train are headed to the postseason.
I gotta say, my stomach is in knots. What an intense game. Big Train always keeping us on our toes, but again, Davin Whitaker, as you said, a hero across the base path, taking gutsy moves, and it paid off big time. Your Big Train going to the post game. For our producer, Jordan Parham, and our other producer, who unfortunately still out sick, Lindsay Morin. For our executive producer and general manager, Harrison Myers. For my partner, Quentin Corpuel. My name is Phoebe Winters, and you've been listening to the Big Train Baseball Network.